Ever wondered how a man could go from being a struggling artist to becoming one of the most infamous dictators in history? Adolf Hitler, a name that echoes through the annals of history, was once just a young boy with dreams of becoming an artist. Born on a chilly April day in the year 1889 in Braunau am Inn, a small town in Austria, Hitler lived a relatively humble existence. His early life was marred by struggles and hardship. The son of a stern and volatile father, he had a tough childhood, very different from the dreams he held in his heart. An aspirant artist, young Hitler was known for his fascination with opera, painting, and architecture. He was a dreamer, a romantic at heart, often losing himself in the world of art, far from the harsh realities of his life. In an attempt to escape his austere upbringing, Hitler moved to Vienna, a city known for its artistic flair. But life in Vienna was far from easy. Struggling to make ends meet, he lived in men's hostels, sold postcard-sized paintings, and even spent time as a casual laborer. Yet the city also presented him with his first taste of politics, and the roots of a future dictator were unknowingly being sown. In 1913, Hitler moved again, this time to Munich, Germany. This move marked a significant turning point in his life. It was here that Hitler's political inclinations began to take shape. The start of the First World War saw him voluntarily enlist in the German army, a decision that would pave the way for his rise to infamous power. From a struggling artist to a political figure, Hitler's early life was a precursor to the tumultuous events that were to follow. His journey, a blend of ambition, struggle, and political maneuvering, marked the genesis of a period that would forever scar the face of human history. How did Hitler, a man with no political background, rise to the highest office in Germany? This question has baffled historians and scholars for decades. To understand this, we need to delve into the turbulent times of post-World War I Germany. Adolf Hitler, a failed artist and a decorated war veteran, entered the political arena in the early 1920s. He joined a small but growing political faction known as the German Workers' Party. The party, later renamed as the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazi Party, was a perfect platform for Hitler's fiery speeches and charismatic personality. He quickly rose through the ranks, becoming the party's leader in just 2 years. In 1923, Hitler, along with his Nazi Party, attempted a coup known as the Beer Hall Putsch, aiming to overthrow the Weimar Republic. However, the coup failed, resulting in Hitler's arrest. While in prison, he penned his infamous manifesto, Mein Kampf, outlining his vision for a racially pure Germany and his plans for world domination. Upon his release, Hitler returned to politics, rebuilding the Nazi Party and gaining a strong following amongst the German populace. He capitalized on the economic hardships and the resentment felt towards the Treaty of Versailles, which many Germans considered to be unfair. His promises of a strong, unified Germany resonated with the masses, leading to the Nazi Party's increasing popularity. By 1933, the Nazi Party had become the largest faction in the Reichstag, Germany's parliament. In a move that would change the course of history, Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany. His appointment marked the beginning of a totalitarian regime that would plunge the world into the darkest period of the 20th century. Hitler's ascension to power was as dramatic as it was terrifying. His rise from a disgruntled soldier to the leader of a nation serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the power of charismatic leadership. The stage was now set for Hitler's reign of terror, a period that would leave an indelible mark on human history. What happens when absolute power falls into the hands of a man with a vision of racial purity? That was the terrifying reality the world had to face when Adolf Hitler, the Führer of Nazi Germany, began to implement his policies. With the rise of Hitler and the Nazi Party, Germany was transformed into a totalitarian state. The Nazis controlled every aspect of life, from the economy and culture to education and law. But the most horrifying aspect was Hitler's obsession with racial purity, which led to the establishment of concentration camps and the systematic extermination of millions of people. These concentration camps were places of unimaginable horror, where people were stripped of their humanity and treated as mere numbers. They were forced into hard labor, subjected to inhumane medical experiments, and many were put to death in gas chambers. The largest and most notorious of these camps was Auschwitz, where over 1 million people lost their lives. But the horrors didn't stop within the borders of Germany. Hitler's aggressive foreign policies and territorial expansion led to the start of World War II. He invaded Poland, Norway, Denmark, Belgium, the Netherlands, France, and many more countries, leaving destruction in his wake. His war machine was fueled by the belief in German racial superiority and the need for living space for the Aryan race. The world watched in horror as Hitler's reign of terror unfolded. The Holocaust, as it came to be known, resulted in the death of 6 million Jews, along with millions of other people deemed undesirable by the Nazi regime. This was a genocide on a scale never seen before, a systematic attempt to wipe out entire communities, cultures, and traditions. The reign of terror was not just about the physical violence inflicted upon the people. It was also about the psychological terror, the constant fear, the dehumanization, and the stripping away of basic human rights and dignity. It was a time when the world was shown the darkest depths to which humanity could sink. The reign of Hitler was marked by fear, violence, and unimaginable human suffering. Every reign of terror has its end. But how did Hitler's end come about? As we delve into the final years of the Second World War, the tides of battle were turning against the Third Reich. The Allies, composed of the United States, the United Kingdom, and the Soviet Union, among others, were beginning to close in on Berlin, the heart of Hitler's empire. For years, Hitler had been the puppet master, pulling the strings of a war that spread across continents. But now, the puppet master was losing his grip. The once invincible Third Reich was starting to crumble under the relentless assault of the Allied forces. In the east, the Soviet Red Army was advancing, leaving nothing but devastation in its wake. From the west, the British and American forces were making their way towards the German heartland. The circle was closing in around Hitler, and there was no escape. Even amid the encroaching doom, Hitler remained in Berlin, sequestered in his bunker, the Führer bunker. It was here, in this underground fortress, that Hitler would spend his final days. With the echoes of war thundering above him, Hitler was left to confront his impending downfall. As the Allies closed in, Hitler was faced with a choice. Surrender was not an option for the Führer. Instead, he chose to control the only thing he had left, his own fate. On April 30th, 1945, Adolf Hitler committed suicide in his bunker, bringing his reign of terror to a self-inflicted end. The news of Hitler's death reverberated around the world. The man who had once held the world in the palm of his hand, who had instigated a war that claimed millions of lives, was no more. His dream of a 1,000-year Reich had lasted just 12 years. Hitler's fall was as dramatic as his rise, marking the end of one of history's darkest chapters. But as the world would soon learn, the shadow of the Third Reich would linger long after its fall, leaving an indelible mark on the pages of history. How does the world remember a man like Hitler, and what lessons can we learn from his life? In the aftermath of World War II, the world was left to pick up the pieces of a shattered Europe. Germany, once the epicenter of Hitler's terrifying reign, was divided into 4 occupation zones controlled by the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and the Soviet Union. This division laid the foundation for the Cold War, the ideological battle that would dominate the second half of the 20th century. At the heart of this aftermath were the Nuremberg trials, a series of military tribunals held to prosecute prominent leaders of Nazi Germany. These trials were unprecedented, marking the first time in history that an international court was used to judge war criminals. Here, the world bore witness to the full extent of the horrors perpetrated under Hitler's regime. But Hitler's legacy goes beyond the physical and political aftermath of the war. His reign has left an indelible mark on the world's collective memory, serving as a stark reminder of the human capacity for evil when power is unchecked and hatred is allowed to flourish. His racial policies and the resulting genocide of 6 million Jews during the Holocaust have become synonymous with the term crimes against humanity. They have fundamentally shaped our understanding of human rights and have led to the development of international laws to prevent such atrocities from happening again. The lessons from Hitler's life continue to resonate today. His rise to power reminds us of the dangers of political apathy and the crucial importance of democratic processes. His reign of terror highlights the catastrophic consequences of racial fanaticism and intolerance. We remember Hitler not as a hero, but as a cautionary tale. His life is a testament to the darkest depths humanity can sink to when guided by hate and ambition. Adolf Hitler, a name synonymous with terror and destruction, serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and racial fanaticism.